welcome to the Weekly SEO, everyone. Every week we share our experiences on content marketing and SEO. Actually, normally we are 3 people, but right now only Adem and I here. Next week we will be together again, hopefully, if something bad happens. If something does not happen bad, oh my God, it's so pessimistic. I was trying to make a joke actually. So.
Yeah, we will be again this trio, and we will continue our this meeting, and we will share together.
So let us introduce ourselves. So this handsome person is Roman Ademita. He's our director of SEO, and we love him. He encourages us towards many hard projects, and we run success together with him. And I've been working here for almost a year right now, and I'm a part-timer of Content Queen. I don't know why they are calling me like that, but I love that name.
Hello everyone again, and I am Adem. I am as an SEO associate in Busras agency, and I have been working for almost 6 months or maybe more. And I will share my experience again in this meeting.
So good. Welcome everyone again.
Welcome.
So as we mention every week, every weekly SEO session, the goal of this session is to keep you updated on the SEO industry. We share our experiences, experiments, and some really interesting case studies and news from the SEO industry. And this week, I'm going to cover the topics such as core web vitals and page experience FAQs, AskGoogleBot new website has come, content SEO for medical health e-commerce websites, content tuning at scale with the Search Console API, structured data implementation on SME websites, and Women in Tech SEO newsletter.
Actually, I was talking a lot core web vitals, and I have changed my topics. It was like international SEO for non-dominant language. That's kind of different strategy for international SEO. And cache redirect issue, especially like automatic redirects, and that's issues in international SEO. And localizing case study and JavaScript SEO article from Katarina, and weekly CLS case and total blocking time effect.
I will start first, and I will cover some hot SEO news from the industry, and I'm gonna comment about them. And the first news I want to share with you all guys is core web vitals and page experience FAQs are updated, and they have been updated under 3 sections, category section, content sections. These are metrics and tooling, page experience and search, and AMP. I checked out the page, and it's really good and well detailed. And if you have any comments about the page, or if you have any more questions about the core web vitals, they're always open for some new comments and improvements. So you can leave your comments, and you can mention on Twitter and ask questions, continue asking questions about core web vitals. And the language of the FAQ page is really simple. If you're a content SEO, you can still understand whatever is written there. So it's a really good and valuable source for everyone. And I just left the link below. You can go and check it out.
Actually, I checked this topic in this page, and core web vitals is a really detailed issue for like page speed and next update, something that's good topic nowadays. And this guide and this guide is help us in details, especially in core web vitals. For example, what is lab data, what is field data, and what's the difference between them, and what is lighthouse metrics and Chrome user experience, this kind of details, and maybe like which data is more important for us in the future updates. Actually, this page gives us these answers a lot. And especially, probably, I will share this guide to my brands also. This sometimes maybe the marketing managers, maybe another managers is asking always, what is lab data or field data? Okay, we are showing this data, but what's between difference between them? And this is really good guide for us, especially from Google. That's the most part of it.
So maybe that's the most common question you get about Core Web Vitals. What is lab data? Yeah.
And you know, that's actually a FAQ. Like, you know, it's always asking, and they are how can I say it, like waiting these answers, and just I can share this guide and I can say please read it, and everything is here, and probably you will be a kind of professional in Core Web Vitals.
You don't do that. You try to explain it because it's a really long guide and there are so much detailed information for them. And they have limited
they want to be professional. That's
so let's continue. And you know, there is a really good video series on Google Search Central YouTube account called AskGoogleBot, and its new episode has arrived. And it's a really short lightning episode, but John Mueller answers 5 interesting questions about SEO. You can ask new questions with the hashtag AskGoogleBot on Twitter to John Mueller, or I forgot the other guy's name. I'm so sorry. There were a few more people, but I forgot about it. I'm sorry. Oh, okay, I remembered it. Sullivan. You can also ask questions to Sullivan. And in this lightning episode, there are interesting questions. Okay, they are common but really interesting questions. And the ones that were interesting for me was one of them about the CDN usage. They were asking whether CDN usage is a bad thing for indexing of the images, because they're asking that they're not in my server, the person asking this, and John Mueller simply answered this. It doesn't matter, you can use CDN. And I really loved his simple and energetic answers in this video series. And for example, there was another interesting question for me, and someone were asking about putting date and month in the URL structures, and can I use it or not? What is the point view of Google about this? And John Mueller said that of course you can use dates in your URL. You are free to use that. In my experience, I don't like any dates or numbers in the URL structures, because sometimes the user intent of a page may change, and you may need to change it, and you may need to update that content. And whenever you update that content, you will still, if you don't give any 1 or 3 redirections, you will have always the same URL, and it's unhealthy for me, because it's not an easy URL structure. You know what? The easier the URL structure is, the better for the user experience. Because people, in the search results, when people see complicated URL structures, there was a study about it too, from SEMrush, I guess. People do not tend to click them. So for simplicity and for the sake of updating your content, I think you may not choose to use dates in your URL. I just wanted to add that.
Readability of the URL is important for me also. And as you said, also, like if you published a blog post and it has a date URLs, and when you update it, it's you can't redirect all blog posts in this way. And also sometimes you need to update every blog post and maybe every year, and it can seems like okay, this is the old post because of this URL, that's the date, but maybe it's the updated one. I think so. Like readability is also important for me.
Yep, and you're building a page authority for that page, and changing the URL path is like resetting that authority, even if you give a redirection for the new article. So you should consider about it. Will you try experiment? Will you make an experiment, or you will continue with the same URL structure? That's another point to be careful about. And that's all. So this was another interesting question from Google Search Hours. I just left the exact moment this question is asked, and you can watch it later and how the rest of the search office hours. And this was a question from an SEO about contents of a medical health e-commerce website. She was asking about how can, if I don't remember wrong, she was asking about how she can improve this contents. What is the point of view of Google against e-commerce websites selling medical and health products? And this is actually the exact sentence of John Mueller. When it comes to medical content, our algorithms are really picky. So, you know, we have EAT standards and medical e-commerce, medical sites, medical content is also in the Your Money, Your Life category. And they should be really well written.
Maybe most important.
Yeah, they are this is the most important category of the content types. And you should really read the guidelines for YMYL and EAT standards. And because it matters for people's health, and you should give true and authoritative information about it. Health issues are important. That's why during the last December core algorithm update, there were a lot of drops in websites writing about health stuff with no authoritativeness. There were a lot of case studies about it. And with the COVID-19, it becomes more and more important to write something with authority. And if you are creating content for an e-commerce website, maybe you should think of including a doctor or a specialist, health specialist, to write that content, because health is not a joke. And Google, as John Mueller said, is really picky about it.
And imagine that, like, sometimes you can use like voice search for it, and you know, if you have feature snippets and like it will voiced by the direct assistant. Oh, I think I have an internet problem.
Yep, sometimes it could.
Can you hear me?
I have some glitches. Yeah, I know. I can hear it. I can hear you now. And of course, for finance websites, it's also important. You know, finance is also, because the decisions you make about the thing you read, after the thing you read, affects your money and financial state. So you should give a trusted source of information. It's important. And
yeah, but you didn't make a decision in finance, you know, with by voice search, but you can make it in health industry, and this is the why it's so important. If there's a fake information, it can affect your health, especially like, because if you are making a voice search, it means that you need emergency situation, you know, you need this information in emergency and as soon as possible. So it's why it's more and more important.
Yeah, I know. And actually, Lily Ray has a really good case study about it.
Yeah.
Actually, she was talking about the after effects of core algorithm, December core algorithm update, but you can see the effects of how Google understands the websites and their content. You can see it from there, because there were a lot of things about contents and medical related websites. I really suggest you to read that article. Maybe we can leave the link below, Adam. I don't know, later.
Yeah.
Are you with me? Okay.
Yeah, I am. But
I just thought that
I'm not sure because sometimes I have a connection problem.
yeah, because of your connection
Yeah,
problem. I
I'm
couldn't be
not
sure.
stable. I'm sorry.
So last week, I read a content tuning article from Kevin Indig. With the content tuning, he means that actually these are his exact steps for content tuning from his previous article. So actually, we do this all the time, but he provided a really cool name about it, and I never thought about it. So just sometimes we go and open Google Search Console and filter a date range from, for example, last 28 days, like last 3 months or 6 months, whatever we want. And I did do this all the time for specific URL paths and pages. I just check the queries, the performance of queries about for a specific query in a specific page. And after that, if I see some possible queries with potential, I try to update my content about it, and later that I try to follow its performance. And actually, Kevin is also talking about this in his content tuning article with expanding your content with 2 or 3 words. He says you can trigger many more queries in that specific page. And he also shares his success stories about a specific page and his experiments in forms of charts. And right now, he just shared another article about content tuning with the help of Google Search Console API. And with the help of this, you can just open an Excel sheet and connect your Google Search Console with the help of an add-on. And after you verify the domain you want to take the information, you can just export all of the information in forms of query, page, clicks, impressions, blah blah blah. It combines them and matches them on a single Excel sheet. You know, we can always get some exports from Google Search Console, but they tend to give the export in different files. And it's a really time-saving solution. And in this article, I left the link below. He also shared the really cool formula for the queries targeting getting impression from the same page. You can group your queries with that, and later you can just go over the document, filter it according to your taste or goal, and start tuning your content. It's easier. I think it's easier than going to Search Console and go over them one by one. And I'm gonna try it with a customer, because last week I was saying that, okay, I wish I had a solution for this, and I wish I could export all of the stuff and check out them easily, but export easily, not because we can export, and analyze the pages and the queries. It will be a time-saving solution for me. And for the content marketers who will see this video in the future, you should be friends with Google Search Console. If you don't have any access, please go to the owner of the Search Console property and ask for a verification for your email, and just go and check all of the data of your website, because your writing and your contents will affect that website. And from there you can understand which keywords will affect your content or how you can improve your content.
And if you want to improve your content, you need to dive into this data, and that's API is really, really cool. And it's also time saving.
And this was from this is a blog article from a brilliant woman, Crystal Carter, from Mozblog. And mostly the article is about the value of structured data implementation on SME websites. She was saying that, simply put, structured data gives you the chance to jump the queue on the SERP. Yeah, and I totally believe this, and I totally agree with this. Most of the time when the clients come to us, they don't know any knowledge about structured data, and when we try to implement it, and if they have limited resources, they tend to ignore the suggestion because they need software power, they need time for this. But if you are also doing content marketing and content optimizations on an SME website, or an e-commerce website with a lot of products, you should also support it with the schema or structured data codes, because if we provide more information to Googlebots, the better chance we have to get more and more visibility. Content is not enough alone at this point. Of course, it's still effectful, but for the the rich snippets, the zero position, the fancy boxes, recipe areas, people also ask this sections and videos, image results, video results. For all of that, we have a different type of schema code, and we should know, and we should have the knowledge of these structured data codes, and we should try to apply it as much as possible to proper websites. Adam, you have some experience about it, and I have some experience, especially for article and FAQ structured data. For example, last week I talked about product structured data, why it is important, because there are a lot of information to provide about the product on the page to Google. That's why we should use it. For recipe ones, we should, for the recipe, recipe has a lot of competition. There are a lot of recipe websites, and recipe is also like product. We have a lot of components in a recipe: the cooking time, the ingredients, the how-to steps, etc., etc. We should provide more and more information to be more visible on Google search results. Of course, she also gives some categorization here for example, in order to increase authority, you should use this one, and visibility for visibility this one, and for conversion this one. These are all help us to provide information. So Adam, what do you think about it?
Actually, I like this chart on the screen. Sometimes if you wanna use the structured data, we are always searching like, okay, which data I should use in this page. But this chart is really, really helpful for us to choose which structured data should I use.
Actually, this is the best summary of a structured data playbook, in my opinion. It's a really good chart, and I left the link below if you want to read it. She also shares some useful insights about the results she gets. And I also have some kind of visibility jumps in terms of performance, and I totally believe the power of structured data. So my final topic is Women in Tech SEO newsletter. This is a monthly newsletter, and it comes during the last days of each month. And this month, I'm so lucky because I'm featured in this brilliant newsletter. And this is a really brilliant. There are really brilliant women in this newsletter every month. It's a really good reading list. If you want to subscribe and read the previous bulletins or newsletters, a more fancy name, you can just click the link here and leave your subscription request. And I strongly suggest it because I don't know, there are a lot of good things women are writing. I know you support me all the time. Your mom support me all the time. I'm so
of course.
Of course, that they have a lot of good workshops for women. You can also check them out on this webpage. So Adem, thank you for listening to me. And now it's your turn.
Oh, thanks for every information. That's really, really cool experience and information from you. And like I read an article that explains the international SEO for non-dominant language. And you know, in fact, we don't simply position like international SEO based on the language of the website's content. Like, you know, okay, I'm serving in USA, and my website is in English, and just we are making international SEO for it. But we can use the sites more effectively, targeting like overseas brand here. For example, like immigrants living from a country, they are probably will primarily want to read and navigate in their language, because that's their native language. So in fact, as this exemplified in the blog post here, if you want to target the nearly 4,050, like no, 450,000 Japanese residents in the USA, and it's also mentioned here, the author. And like in the USA as well as Japan, you can use like your Japanese version. If you have Japanese version, you can direct here in the USA also, because there are lots of Japanese living in USA, you know. And that's also another opportunity for us for our international SEO. And please don't make just international SEO for your content. Like, okay, I'm serving in USA and my content is in English, but you can serve your website is also in Japanese or maybe in Spanish also in USA, and you can make international SEO in this directive.
What about the websites you are trying to reach or access in, for example, Turkish, but it keeps you pushing to English version?
Like it's redirects or just okay, if you don't have a Turkish version, you know, it's English version is a more effective one. For example, like I think I remember Ryanair, it's they don't have a Turkish version because they don't have any agreement in Turkey, but they have a Turkish version, but they are serving in their language in English.
Actually, I was talking about the ones, for example, hi Mehmet, by the way, you're welcome. And actually, I'm talking about the websites. Just think that we're trying to reach a website from Google search results, but we're trying to reach the Turkish one. But whenever we click it, always English version opens.
Oh, that's that's a really bad experience.
Yeah.
Sometimes they are making their website in this way, but you know, it's how can I say, like it's kind of manipulating.
Yeah. And the ones directly automatically redirects you because of your region. That one is also so annoying. What if I want to buy something to my mother from Moldova, but my mother is in Turkey?
Also, I have kind of another slice. I will talk about that also. Also, I talked in GeoIP redirects, and I have some new experience here. I will talk about that. And I think that's a really good example of this. We can give the example of Amazon Germany. Before they are entering the Turkish market, I think they are still bad in Turkish market. Okay, sorry. And the Turkish language option like was offered in Germany, and because the largest number of immigrants living in Germany, they are Turks, and in fact, kind of like they made kind of test, you know, they prepared the Turkish version, and they are kind of preparing themselves the Turkish market, and they launched their Turkish version firstly in Germany, and they tested. So that was kind of opportunity for them, and they use it. I think that's a good example of this.
By the way, I was working as a translator. I was working as a translator when this happened, and I know the team tried to translate all of the Amazon website, and it was a really hard process because
Oh,
it's a really big website.
of course.
It takes a lot of time. It took a lot of time. I remember that. So, do you have any results for it, or it's in the next sections? I'm so
No,
curious
like
about.
there's no result, but like that's kind of good experience for it. They are serving their language and first in Germany because it's not good like easy process to enter a market. They have lots of business issues, but if they made their language version, they serve it in Germany first, and probably they collected lots of data from Germany market, probably lots of Turkish people, like German Turkish people use this website in Turkish version.
By the way, hi Zeynep. Thank you. You're awesome too. Zeynep tells us that we are awesome men.
Okay, like as you said, that's kind of redirect issues, and one common mistake on international website is automatic redirects, and they may be able to redirect. Maybe it's like according to geographical IP, maybe the language of the browser you are using, and sometimes it's also like cache redirect. You are searching something on the browser, for example, and they collecting your kind of history data, and this redirect you automatically to this which languages are you using, and it's automatically redirect you. So and there may be pointing to Googlebot the wrong way, and I have also like a blog post, and I also talk about that in previous weekly SEO webinars, and uh, and the Google bots are always US based, and if they are automatically redirect, probably they will find your English page. And actually I had another experience also. It's another slide, but that's not the good way. You need to give the customers, like your visitors, they can change your language option. It means also Googlebot can navigate your website more effectively.
By the way, I know you are not self-promoting yourself most of the time, but Adem has a really good article about GeoIP redirection in Lustra's blog. And you can just go and visit and read it. It's a really good blog post.
And
And
yeah, there are really good examples in this blog post.
yeah. And this is the end of our editorials. Let's continue.
And that's really interesting website for me. Like the URL structure on the website are the same, but this content varies, like changes according to cache of users. And like there's a home page, and you can you don't they didn't automatically redirect you. Just they are changing dynamically this content, and it's like, how can I say, like changes on the same URL rather than the redirected. Because of this, all the metadata contained in head code and the language targeting. For example, this is the Turkish version, but it's language is option, like international SEO is directing to US, not Turkish version. So all the data the Google bots will pull is in English, not Turkish. So you cannot aim the Turkish market here, because all your metadata will be in English, and all your keywords and all your code structure, maybe structured data, will be in English. If you wanna aim the Turkish market and your Turkish visitors, you need to change this URL structure first. Maybe it can be like your domain name, or maybe you can use subdomain, subfolder, or ccTLT, like .com.tr. You have this option also, and language options should also be according to the user's choice. You know, in this way, both search engine bots will not be manipulated while you're crawling your pages. And as you see here, the result. Please, I am talking. And you know, this the result, and the SERP is always in English. Not there's no any Turkish keywords and Turkish pages here.
So Mehmet Emre also commented that he had this issue on his client's website, and Google put English content on Turkish results because of auto redirect. So this is a common problem, I guess, right, Ada?
Yeah, I think so. It's really so bad experience for users both, and for Googlebot also.
But we are here to fix it.
Yeah,
as SEOs, all of us.
And again, the concept of localization, which I mentioned a lot in my previous presentation. I mentioned the difference in words used between. Probably you remember it, yeah. I mentioned about that, like the difference between USA and UK, and I found this case study is really firing, because that's really a good example for international SEO. Sometimes brands can use the website that is like USA version at this point, as well as in the UK market. But probably they don't wanna spend money. Like, okay, I have an English version here. I'm using this in UK market, but also I will serve in USA market. I don't need to change it because it's both English. But there's a magical keyword here, is search intent, because like USA customers and UK customers are not searching the same way, because sometimes some words in UK is different between USA. And this case study done really great job at this point, and providing over 20%, I think, 20%, maybe more, organic traffic here. And they changed their product content for the US version from UK to US version, and serving the UK market. And for example, like trousers used in the UK, and pants for the USA. And they made it, then they measured these changes, and as you've seen, there's an impact here. It's really great success.
As a former, I want to have a comment here. As a former localization specialist, I was also a localization specialist. People tend to confuse. People are most of the time confused between the meanings of translation and localization, and they just think that localization is the same thing with the translation, but we shouldn't consider English as a single language, because there are a lot of countries speak English, and all of these countries have different cultures, and that's the point. Localization comes onto the stage, because you need to provide information sometimes based on the culture of that country. It's just like a game localization or a movie localization. You should consider the differences in language, the differences in proverbs or metaphors. You should consider everything before providing a website with different languages. And I can understand why it's effectful at this point. And it's a really good case study to read.
Yeah,
I really love it. Yeah, you can just we are gonna share the deck below. Anyways, you can just go and read all of the whole of the case study.
And also I read like Christina's article is like full of really great examples on JavaScript SEO, and it includes like case studies such as lazy loading, which we use for page speed, and like causes a loss of visibility or a loss of and is also website is not SEO compatible after moving to React. There's another statistic here, Search Console statistics from is migrating to React JavaScript framework. And for example, the top Search Console data is the below one, and the top one. Data shows a loss of visibility, like after lazy loading implemented, especially if you wanna to perform an optimization for LCP value in the mobile version on our website. Like we load our images, that are like differ off the screen images. It's actually affect our LCP metric, because you don't need to upload, like you don't need to download these images firstly. And here there's kind of problems, like these images visibility is decreased really a lot here, because the Googlebot didn't crawl these images because of the lazy loading. So that's really good experience. That's kind of JavaScript SEO issue. Sometimes we are using lazy loading for page speed for our LCP metric, but sometimes it can be a problem for us, because sometimes Googlebot maybe cannot crawl it. Maybe like another search engine bot encounter that problem here. So just we don't need to change. Don't need to measure just for our LCP metric. Also, we need to measure our images is crawlable or not. And another one is the below one. This kind of migration, maybe it's CMS like PHP to React JavaScript framework. After this migration, the visibility is kind of like how can I say that, decrease, but almost zero visibility here. And that's really big problem for a brand, and they need to take these SEO strategies for it, because they migrated their website just without any SEO's knowledge. Their JavaScript framework is not suitable for SEO. They don't have kind of text on the page. It's really bad. Their URL is not crawlable, and they don't have anything good. And Googlebots are crawl this page as a duplicate for every pages. Just Googlebot can choose one page among these pages and canonicalize
Adem,
their.
I'm sorry, Adem, I'm interrupting you because I couldn't hear you.
Because
I don't know whether our guest hears you or not clearly. Can you just tell your last sentence again?
Yeah, you have frozen, and I noticed that.
I don't know whether the problem is with me or not, and just to be sure, just.
Okay, now can you hear me?
Yep.
That's, I said like this briefly. These website URLs are not crawlable. They don't have really good text for SEOs, because that's full of the JavaScript, and Googlebot is sees these pages as a duplicate. Oh my God, my internet.
Some internet problems, but you're good.
Yeah.
Go. I can hear it clearly.
And after this migration, this visibility decreased, and they need to make this JavaScript SEO implementation, and they try to increase this visibility here. That's really good example from JavaScript SEO.
By the way, it's out of the subject, but Christina also has a really good Chrome extension called SEO Pro. And if you are looking for a Chrome extension for a quick check of the meta title description or canonical tag, or if you want to reach easily to the robot.txt or sitemaps of a website, you're just taking a look at, just a simple look at, you can just download it for free and you can use it. It's really useful, and she's also a lovely person and open to any more comments about it. She loves hearing comments and feedback. I just want to add here, maybe SEO Pro, you can try it. It's not
Actually,
sponsored, by the way. It just come to my mind.
There's a promotion, I think, in this blog post also about this tool. I think that's really useful tool. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you, Christina. We love you too. Okay, so that's the CLS part of this.
Yes.
Part.
Now I have weekly CLS case from SpeedGirl, and that's I think that's how I can say that coordinately with total blocking time. And yeah, during this week I came across a great example of cumulative layout shift. In fact, the page speed values of our website in general are quite high. Like there's no page speed problem in the website, but if I'm checking the Search Console, there's a page speed is totally red, you know, in the desktop side, and I said, oh my god, this website is really cool and so fast. What's the problem? And that's the problem. Every page has this huge CLS problem, and it's like in the website, like in 15 seconds based on total blocking time in the lab data, because many third-party tracks are installed on our website, and because of that, the style file, the CSS style file of our website is loaded like quite late. As such, like our links, as you see here, like and article like this fonts appear on the page first, and after with the loading of the style file, this CSS file, our screen and our all elements completely change here. You know, it's the how can I say it, like the average CLS is like 0.1, but if your CLS is more than 0.25, it means it's really bad experience you have. But here it's almost 1. You know, this metric, almost our CLS metric is here 1, and that's really bad because in the loading phase, your screen almost change suddenly, and it affects our user experience here. So we need to change, like we need to solve first this total blocking time if we wanna solve this CLS metric problem here.
Oh my god, we're done.
Yeah, that was my final.
So we have a type form page, and we will leave it below too. If you have any questions for us, if you want any questions, if you want us to answer any questions for the next weekly SEO session, you can leave them there, or you can leave them under the comment section below. We're happy to answer your questions. And thank you for all of you to come today and listen to us and making comments, sending comments to us. When we see your comments, we became really happy, and it means so much for us. Thank you for being with us. And if Roman was here, he would probably say, you are out of this world.
Yeah, probably.
So see you in the next video next week. We will continue to talk about more and more SEO topics and experiments. And we love you so much. So have a nice weekend.
Have a nice weekend. Thank you for being with us. And sorry for my unstable internet.
See you.
See you.